Well, thanks everyone, and we're gonna let people get in and out. But let's tackle actually this fantastic theme, no, that everyone can expect about what is the butterfly effect of corporate culture, no? We're seeing more and more effects, more and more of transferences of like sometimes smaller happenings that have a huge global impact, no? And we were kind of reflecting on, okay, how can corporate culture be the butterfly effect for innovation or for the grants? So I wanted to start and ask, we know that in every company, we need, in order to be innovative, we need a big amount of structure or a small amount of structure and a big amount of chaos and innovation and structure. So I wanted to ask you both, maybe start with you, Maria, in a big corporation and then more in the startups. How is that on a day-to-day? How do you actually push those two boundaries of generating sufficient chaos, but at the same time building sufficient roots in order to make it work through corporate culture?
Yeah, thank you. I would say that culture is what helps us to align to each other, no? And align that chaos. At ING, we have like very strong purpose and very strong core values, and that values makes us be aligned on what we want and how do we want to achieve it. So being aligned on that we want to continuously improve and make new solutions for our clients, for them to really excel their expectations on our service, and also align on how we can achieve that, no? By collaborating, by making the teams be in a safe environment to test and learn, or by improving the people's curiosity and creativity is what makes everyone to be aligned. And if all these things that are very important and are based for the culture are clear, you will have an innovative culture and you will manage that chaos of collaboration and create new things, no?
Okay, great. And actually in Exponent here, because you probably, I would say, more in a startup, scale up, and actually a great company now that is going digital transformation for other companies and everything, but all that's work in that spirit. How do you interact in that? How do you create that?
Well, first we have to create this environment to allow people to feel safe, to propose innovative ideas, not only to create new solutions for our customers or new products, but also to improve our own internal processes, for example. So it's a very interesting question, how to live with the chaos. Now, as a very small company so far, maybe it's a little more close to chaos than the ING, of course. So we don't have a very rich structure, for example, so communication flows in all the levels easily. So that's very key to encourage people to innovate and propose new ideas. Yeah. And our culture, which is based in trust, which is based in responsibility and open mind, really creates this environment that encourages people to innovate. Yeah.
Wonderful. And actually, so I would call maybe one of the big claims that you give at ING is to be a customer-centric institution, no? Really think and being actually, I think it was not obsessed about the customer,
Yeah.
no? And somehow.
Yeah.
So how do you interrelate like that final obsession for the customer with actually the attitude, the skills that you're looking in people, and the sense of belonging of the people in order to generate that? So what is the relation like? Or is it work from the inside for the outside? Because at the end, being a digital bank and everything, you don't have like a face and a contact direct with people. So do you generate that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've done in the last year is open the innovation experience to everyone in the company. So what we are doing is, no matter what's your job in the day-to-day, we make sure that you can participate on ideation challenges. So every quarter we open the main challenges that we have to everyone, so they can ideate, so they get in contact with this. And also we make sure that they participate on inspiring talks, or even on connecting with clients. No, we have like different activities for everyone to participate and to connect with clients, and to ensure. Actually, we have a KPI that everyone has to connect with a client at least twice a year. So we make like systems, organized systems for them to collaborate and to be able to do it, even though they are in legal or it's the COO. So it's everyone in the bank.
That's great. And in the, I wanted to say, in Exponencia, you actually are playing a lot more, I would say, like centered on the data, centered on AI, centered different tools that you bring to your customer for those automation process, reference process, etc. So in terms of giving services and being a service company to others and everything, how do you cultivate that innovation? What are the tricks? And maybe also like for both afterwards, but just explain like how you materialize that space for innovation, like in your companies. Like it's great in challenges that you can participate, it's great in things, but is there any spaces, like even in the work environment that enables that?
Well, regarding the first question, how we contribute to create innovation in our customers. Well, we we create solutions based in data analytics or artificial intelligence. For example, we offer solutions to automate certain processes to reduce the manual time for repetitive and low value added tasks. So we leave a lot of time for those people, for those teams, for high added value activities. On the other hand, related to data analytics and artificial intelligence, we create solutions to identify relevant KPIs, so to help the management of the company to make better decisions, for example. And we also create recommendation systems that can be applied to different parts of the company, like sales, maybe purchasing departments. Okay. So regarding the second part of your question, our culture is based on, like I said, on these three values that are trust, that are responsibility, and open mind. So trust is translated in that people feel they can propose new ideas without the fear to fail. We say a lot at Exponente that sometimes you succeed, sometimes you learn. So this is applied all the time. So in terms of responsibility, we try to involve everyone, not only in their own work, in their own tasks, but to contribute to improve their own processes of Exponentia, proposing new ideas. For example, one of our colleagues recently said, why don't we make hackathons, internal hackathons, to solve complex problems with a prize even. So, and the third one is open mind, of course. It's related to the first two. So everyone is encouraged to think out of the box and to propose these new ideas based on data, based on evidence, so we can analyze and implement new solutions, new processes, and even try new technologies that can help us to develop new products.
Okay, great. Actually, like this morning in their talk, Pablo Isla and Pau Gasol were really mentioning about the importance of teamwork. And the importance of teamwork, but not only to have good leaderships in team from a leader, but also to cultivate the fact that you can have disruptors in team. People, that sometimes we would tend to avoid, because or they don't agree with the rest, or they don't answer and go in the same direction, or they're always kind of bothering. But they were actually insisting on the fact that it was really important to have that diversity in teams and to get actually those different opinions, those counter opinions sometimes, in order to create, to innovate, and to get into new solutions. So how are you in ING cultivating this, or is it part of the process?
Actually, when you were talking, I thought about something that we are working right now, that is a kind of framework where we decide which... what we did is just define what kind of profiles do we need to innovate. Ones that are more disruptive, as you were saying, one more analytical. So they are like 5 different types of profiles, and we are developing that to also identify who is each profile, and to identify if all the teams, mainly the teams that have to really innovate, have all types of profiles, because all are needed. No? If you have a team that is very, very analytical and you just have that profile, it's not enough. No? So we are trying to do this kind of framework to really decide if we are fine in this kind of diversity. No?
And actually, now that we're facing more and more, some people were talking about remote, others were talking about flexibility in companies, others say decentralized communities in which actually everyone connects from his home or whatever to work. And sometimes we could think that actually that sense of belonging, that corporate culture, goes a bit like in the opposite, no? Like, okay, when people mingle together, when they have and they share, when they have values, whenever they interact, they normally build that sense, no, of belonging, that sense of being part of something. So how are you addressing actually this? Because I know both of your company offers actually total flexibility to your employees if they want to. You mentioned to me on a call the other day that actually probably among with salary and project, it was definitely the flexibility and the possibility of remote key to attract talent. So how can you combine actually building culture with actually those decentralized community?
Well, yeah, you're right. Like I mentioned the other day, it is a must for certain positions in the company. When we open a position for the development group, so we know for sure they will be looking for salary, for interesting project, and for remote working. So it is a must, and we have to deal with that. So we faced that during the confinement, during the lockdowns, dramatically because of the COVID crisis. So we try to implement different tools to complement that. For example, we try to make some guidelines for every day so everybody could check what have you done today. For example, trying to encourage healthy habits. Okay, have you had healthy food today? Did you make some exercise? Did you use Duolingo today to learn some language, foreign language? We applied other tools that were already there. So we only use technology that was already at our hand. For example, these collaborative tools, or for example, video communication. We made every day one video call with all the team just to share how they were living this strange situation. So part of these things we have kept today because we have some of our colleagues, part of the team is working remote full time. But we know part of the team will be working remote full time, but we always look for people living not more than 2 hours by car, so they can come to the office at least once a month, twice a month, so they can be with the team. And we keep some of the tools we applied during the lockdowns. For example, this video conference of all the team, we make just once a week because otherwise it's crazy. And other, maybe more funnier things like gaming, for example.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they game every day in the development team. Thought that fascinating.
No, all the team.
All the team.
Yeah. So we create, this funny moment. 5 minutes before lunch, everyone stops and we play an online game.
Okay.
So from the CEO to all the rest of the people play, and we play Mario Kart too. Okay. So we can send bombs and all this stuff. So we get a lot of fun this time, and it's an activity we make all of us together. So.
That's great, but in a big corporation, I mean, those momentums may be more like a small team and everything that are able to do. But like, how do you reconnect? Because also, I think there's an added factor in a company such as ING, which is actually not only the employee can be flexible or remote, or you don't exactly know where or know he is when he connects, but actually the customer is also in
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah,
remote because
yeah.
like he can be attending or whatever from wherever because it's in the digital
Yeah.
space a lot more than the physical office that had in the past. So how do you combine that and how is it?
We call it, to our model, we call it 100% flexible, because the important part is that it's flexible, meaning that it's up to the teams to decide if they go or not. When the physical person is really adding value for them as a team. And that's also an important part of the culture, is trusting in the team's accountability to decide that. Our experience until now is that the teams have managed to do it well and to really decide which moments are those moments, no? Like when someone is onboarding to the team, or they have to collaborate closer, or they have problems, or whatever, they decide and they have agreements. Each team has their own agreements because each team have different types of works, and some of them work more remotely and some of them less. So that's something that we saw that is important for them to have that flexibility. We saw also that that's a trend on the society, that we also value the value added of the physical presence, but we are more able to discriminate when it's really worth it or not. And another thing that we do that is very important for us is all the time that we devote to team building, very, very close to what you were saying. This is something that we devote a lot of time even before the pandemic. The difference now is that after the pandemic, it became more structural. So all the teams go through different team building activities, and we have like completely crazy and different types of competition, dancing, singing, cooking, whatever. It helps us to really collaborate in different ways and really link the bones, no, on the team in a more fun way, no?
Great, so we had to put a showy title,
Yeah.
the butterfly effect. And so I could not talk about another big showy effect, like I would say maybe made in US, which is the Great Resignation.
Yeah.
And a factor that is happening more and more in companies in which actually people, after the pandemic or just because of the flexibility or whatever, can decide at a certain moment that, looks, this is not enough for me, that is whatever, I want another life. So would you say also that maybe a kind of a butterfly effect of corporate culture is that retention of your people is like a sense of belonging, a sense of being part of something, a good asset to have for companies at a moment in which rotation is bigger than ever?
Yeah. I'll go.
Whatever.
I'll go.
You can fight for the
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I would say for the new generation, to understand them, the important part is that the linear life that we used to have, no, study, work, marry, have children, is not a must anymore, no, and that's the same for the professional lives. They are not looking for linear professional lives. So I think it's very important that we build like open ecosystems for them. And we have a good example in my team. Last year, we realized that there are people from other teams really wanted to learn and to understand about innovation. So we opened what we call a Beca Erasmus. So everyone can join our team for 6 months. And that's good for them because they learn and they train. It's good for us because we have more help, and it's also good for the other area because once they go back to the area, they have like a broader view on innovation and more skilled people. No, so these kind of initiatives I think are good to really have open paths inside the company and not like the linear career no, that we used to have in the past.
Okay, and actually, well, to go on, because you were touching a point of new generations. So actually being, representing a university, I cannot ask about, are we tackling this issue too? No, because like we're seeing more and more our students when they graduate willing to, decide on their project, having a philosophy in which I'm a lot more attracted, but what am I going to do in the company that maybe that fantastic salary and that good Mercedes that I wanted to aim for when I was in a previous generation. People want impact, people want to have responsibilities and everything. Yeah. So how do you handle that in terms of those projects onto creating a space? Because I understand that also for a company, retention is key. So you don't want the people that to jump from one work for you 3 years, then leave to another project and whatever. So you want to cultivate and you want to retain them, but all you work that mix. So.
Yeah, and it's problematic.
And you told me that actually
yeah.
you got a lot of young people in your team.
Yes.
And you're learning as a young one, no?
Oh, yes. I'm afraid I am the oldest member of the team, by far, but when we try to attract new talent to our team, we always propose a long-term relation. We want people to feel part of the project, and of course, like you said, we have to offer an interesting project especially for the people that will be part of the development group. They get bored many times because, okay, I now know all about this technology, and new challenges for me. So we are open to this flexibility to allow people to move from one project to another, so they don't get bored. They find new challenges. They find ways to learn, to apply, and learn new programming languages, for example. And on the other hand, if one member of the team feels they have the skills to manage a group of development, we open the possibility for that. So we offer different schemes for people to develop inside the company, to develop a professional career. And one other important part is that we always try to let them know that we want to have a positive impact in our environment, and we want them to feel part of that. For example, collaborating to NGOs, we developed one software to manage the volunteers and the schedule for the volunteers for Mamás en Acción, which is an organization to accompany children alone at hospitals. So we want to create this impact in society too, and we want people to get involved in this kind of projects too.
Great. Actually, I think that one of the things that I listen for both of you, and it's key for any company, is like that base of project of innovation. No? Through project and through project of innovation, actually, it's kind of a glue that makes corporation together, that builds corporate culture and everything. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of companies that here might be seed, like small companies. Some are one of scaling and getting a bit bigger. Maria, I wanted to ask you, for your experience and everything, what would be advice that you could give, like if you want to build a corporate culture, even in a small environments, in small startups and everything, for those factors that we all discussed about innovation, about retention, about cultivation of your people, what would be the things to always think on?
For me, devote time and resources to build it. So time in the meaning, time to decide what's your values, what you stand for, and also to do all these kind of activities that we've been talking about. This takes a lot of time. Open, what I said at the beginning, opening the challenges for all the company so everyone can ideate. I have a team behind that to really organize all that. So it takes time. Of course, if you are smaller, it's easier, but anyhow, culture is not something that really flourishes. It's something that you have to cultivate. That's
fantastic. Yeah. You have something you want to add?
No, it's easier
nice
for a small company. Yeah, I agree, but it takes a lot of effort too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to make it with with a lot of love.
Okay. Well, we all hope that we're getting into the finish. We hope we had a little butterfly effect in all of you today, and that's what we talked today can instill and push many other global changes in our company. So thanks a lot. Enjoy Summit. And see you around.
Thank you.